What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with my top 5 most underrated NFL teams heading into the 2018 season. These are the teams that are undervalued by fans, experts, or even the odds makers in Vegas. Teams that are overlooked and the ones that I feel can do some damage this season. Maybe not necessarily compete for a Super Bowl, but possibly make the playoffs or just generally exceed expectations. Let's get right into the top 5 by starting off with the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders, to me, are a motivated squad with arguably the most talented all-around offense top to bottom in the NFL. Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Jordy Nelson, Martavis Bryant, even Marshawn Lynch after a strong finish to 2017. Hey, a rejuvenated Doug Martin, anybody? Maybe not. The offensive line, they added Colton Miller in the first round, and with a scheme switch, they should bounce back to elite status. The potential for this Oakland Raiders team in 2018 is absolutely massive. John Gruden is the fire that I believe will ignite the Raiders to be an impressive, more well-rounded club than the one under Del Rio. Gruden will bring his offensive prowess and QB whisperer traits to hopefully get the 2016 Derek Carr back, but also he will bring the old school Raider attitude that is needed to jack up this defense. Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin up front with added depth throughout the draft. Rashawn Melvin was an overlooked add in the back end. Guys like Connolly and Joseph are maturing in the secondary. The defense isn't perfect to me for the Raiders, but it should be better in 2017. As I said last year, I expected the Raiders to have a decline. But this year, I expect the Raiders to come back and bounce back and be back in the hunt with a fresh season slate. The next team that's underrated to me in 2018 is the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans had another big offseason, adding every former Patriot in sight, whether it was Dion Lewis to pair with Henry, Malcolm Butler to solidify the back end of their defense as a sneaky good unit, or Mike Vrabel as the new voice at head coach. I love that this team has a lot of veteran leaders and experience to top it all off. The Titans have a good roster. It's just more about navigating through a tough division and getting consistency out of Marcus Mariota at the quarterback position. My thought is that the new offensive coordinator, Matt LaFleur, will increase Mariota's level of play, and Henry and Lewis will provide an upgraded combo on the ground. Now, if Corey Davis can break out, this team can be a legitimate contender in the AFC. They do need a guy that defenses have to game plan for besides the aging Delaney Walker at tight end, and I think Davis could be that guy. The defense has been awesome versus the run the last couple of years, but they may struggle to bring pressure. My thought is a strong secondary led by young stud Kevin Byard, a few added schemes from coach Mike Vrabel, and maybe draft pick Terrell Landry will help that as well, and I think the pass rush will be all right. For as talented as the Titans are, even with a comeback playoff win on their resume last season, they do remain underrated. They are extremely talented, and if this team puts it all together, they can be dangerous. The next team that's underrated to me is the Chicago Bears. And I feel as if I've talked a lot about the Bears this offseason, but man, I just really like this team. You would think that the flashy offseason would be enough for more people to really be paying attention to this team, but I guess not. The Bears remain extremely underrated, especially by Vegas. Plus 10,000 to win the Super Bowl, that's about the 30th ranked team in the NFL. Now, I'm not saying that the Bears will win the Super Bowl or even necessarily make the playoffs, but this team is going to be a heck of a lot better than they were last season. Let's just start off with their new head coach. John Fox is no longer the coach, thank God. Matt Nagy is now the new young head coach with fresh ideas, especially offensively, and that's what the Bears desperately needed. He is one of the best offensive coaches in football. He should get the absolute best out of Mitchell Trubisky in his second year, and Trubisky should have a second-year jump. The Bears front office signed and surrounded Trubisky with multiple different types of weapons. Allen Robinson, a legitimate number 1 wide receiver with superstar potential. Anthony Miller from the draft, an awesome slot receiver. Taylor Gabriel, deep speed. Trey Burton, a tight end who is a guy that's really on the rise, plus an already good offensive line and the electric running back combination of Howard and Cohen. I feel as if people have covered the offense plenty, though. I feel like people aren't underrating the offense as much as they're underrating the defense, which is the unit that was already good from last season. Akeem Hicks is a monster on the defensive line. Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan could be one of the best linebacker combos in the NFL. Adrian Amos is an elite safety. Eddie Jackson is a playmaker. And they have 3 good cornerbacks to top it all off, especially Kyle Fuller. They do need to get more out of their pass rush, but I count on defensive mastermind Vic Fangio to figure that all out. So the Bears, despite being in a very difficult division, are a stacked roster, just about everywhere top to bottom. And I think that this team really could take the next step in 2018. Please do not sleep on the Chicago Bears. The 4th team I'm going to talk about as underrated is the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me get this straight. The Chiefs move on from a quarterback who hasn't been able to get them to the promised land, continued to disappoint in the playoffs, and they're somehow not a good team anymore. Let's be honest here, guys. The Chiefs made the right decision moving on from Alex Smith. They have a guy waiting in the wings that has the potential to be the next Brett Favre. They have to take the shot sooner rather than later with Patrick Mahomes. Or you're going to miss the chance of winning that Super Bowl with a quarterback on a rookie contract. Patrick Mahomes was my favorite quarterback in last year's draft, even above Deshaun Watson, and that's saying a lot. Patrick Mahomes has special qualities. He has that knack to make plays. Now, he's pretty much a rookie at this point, but I don't think that's enough for the Chiefs to be completely dismissed. This is still a very talented team, especially on the offensive side of the football. Let's put it this way. The Chiefs have the NFL's leading rusher, the second best tight end in the NFL, the fastest player in the NFL at wide receiver, and have now added who's another wide receiver in Sammy Watkins, who they paid as one of the most elite in the game. Patrick Mahomes has everything at his disposal to be a beast from the jump. Not to mention, they have Andy Reid, who is one of the best offensive minds of all time. Now, the defense isn't as strong as the offense, but still has a lot of talent, including its leader, who's coming back, who missed pretty much the entire season last year, in Eric Berry. Chris Jones is getting better and better. Justin Houston is still a monster off the edge. Dee Ford hopefully can stay healthy and perform. Anthony Hitchens will improve that inside of the linebacker spot after being signed as a free agent. And Kendall Fuller is an elite slot cornerback. Yes, they traded Marcus Peters, but he may have been hurting them more than helping them, to be honest, with his attitude. So don't take the Chiefs off your radar, please. They're still here despite the new quarterback. And the last team that I feel is underrated heading into the 2018 NFL season is the Washington Redskins. The Redskins are really the forgotten team of the NFC East. The other 3 teams get all the hype, constantly. The Eagles are the Super Bowl champions, so that's well-deserved. The Giants have Saquon now, and OBJ is back, so of course they're going to have a circus around their team, and the Cowboys are the Cowboys. But the Redskins just seem to not get any attention. Well, I think you're sleeping on the Skins just a little bit here. The Skins in 2017 were a promising competitive team who were hit with the most injuries in the NFL and just were plain unlucky. Alex Smith replaces Kirk Cousins. No longer is there that off-the-field distraction of the contract situation around the Washington Redskins franchise quarterback. Plus, nobody really argues that Alex Smith isn't a good regular season quarterback. Coming off his best season of his career, Alex Smith looks primed to take hold of this Washington offense with Jay Gruden, who's a pretty good offensive coach. They got rid of the Terrell Pryor error, added Paul Richardson to hopefully give them somewhat of a downfield threat. Jordan Reed should at least play more games than last year, and that's always a positive thing because we know that Alex loves tight ends and Reed is elite when he's on the field. Jamison Crowder is looking for a breakout season in the slot. The offensive line is overlooked with Trent Williams back and healthy. They drafted Darius Geis at running back to join the returning receiving threat Thompson, Rob Kelly, and Samaje Perine in the backfield. Jay Gruden is not a bad coach. I like Greg Minuski as the defensive coordinator. Speaking of the defense, they could really have the best run defense they've had in seasons, with Payne being drafted from Alabama in the first round, teaming up with last year's first rounder Jonathan Allen. There's linebackers on their team that are actually pretty good, and they have plenty of depth at that position, like Ryan Kerrigan. The secondary is a question, but I mean, it can't be much worse than last year, can it? The Redskins are truly a sneaky team and have arguably the second most well-rounded roster in the NFC East. I'm not saying that they're a playoff contender, but I wouldn't be shocked if they somehow found a way to beat out the Cowboys and the Giants in the NFC East. Those are the 5 most underrated NFL teams heading into the 2018 season. Let me know who you guys think is the most undervalued and underappreciated and underrated team heading into the 2018 NFL season. It's Mitch at The Bottom Line View. If you enjoyed, hit the like button and subscribe for more NFL. Peace out.